I still blink in the sunset. You know I never wanna make you upset.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about all the books I read in October. Okay, so I read 6 books in October. 3 of them I have the physical copy of, and 3 of them I read on my phone. But the first book I read was Hooked by Emily McIntyre. I actually read this one on my phone. I read it at the beginning of October, I believe. And I'm just going to put a picture of it here. I gave Hooked 4.5 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed this book. I think I read it in just a few days. I think I read it like over a weekend, I think. It was so good. The only reason why it is not 5 stars is that there was some weird stuff happening in the book. I'm not going to give it a really bad rating just because it's not my cup of tea. But he kept calling her a pet, and I just didn't like that. And there's something that happens towards the end of the book that I just totally do not support. But besides that, the book was so amazing. It was really cute. And if you didn't know, Hooked is basically a retelling of Peter Pan. So obviously it's about Captain Hook and Wendy. In this story, Peter Pan is Wendy's dad, and then obviously Peter Pan and Hook have bad history, so yeah. But anyways, Hook decides to use Wendy as a way of revenge, but they end up falling in love, obviously, so yeah. But it was really adorable. I like how their best traits came out when they were with each other. Like, you can see Wendy was really comfortable with Hook, and how Hook, or James, because James Barry is my husband, but James, like, you can really see his soft side when he was with Wendy, and it was just the cutest thing ever. I definitely recommend it, but it is like a darker romance, so if you're not into that, you shouldn't read it. Like, there was some weird stuff happening, but if you just ignore it, it's a pretty good book. Okay, the next book I read is Anatomy, a Love Story. I don't know how to say the author's name. It's Dana something. I also have the Barnes & Noble edition, and the cover is really cute. It's just like these scissors and a knife, and the spine is gorgeous. I literally love it. This is about a girl in Edinburgh. She really wants to be a surgeon, and they're not allowing her, so she sneaks into the seminars as a boy, and just so she can like learn the stuff. And then she meets this guy named Jack, and he's a graveyard digger, so he like digs up the dead bodies for money, and they end up becoming friends because she needs bodies and he needs money. So they become acquaintances, but then they end up falling in love, which is basically what happens in every romance book. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars just because 60% of this book, more than half of it, was just setting up the story. Literally, like, the last 100 pages is when anything happened at all. Once you're past like the halfway mark, things get interesting, and I cried at the end of this book. It was so sad. I didn't know it was gonna be heartbreaking like that, because when this girl, I saw her on TikTok, she posted like 6 videos for like 2 weeks straight just about how good this book is, and I was like, I need to read it, so I got it. And I was like pretty bored through most of it. That's why I read Hooked in between. And when I finally got to 60% of the book, it was like pretty good, and I did not expect that ending at all. Like, I did not know that was gonna happen. But I'm happy that the second book is gonna come out, I think in like January or February. It's called Immortality, a Love Story. But I'm definitely gonna read that when it comes out. I just hope that most of it is not just setting up the story like this one. I don't think so, because that's the sequel, so the story's basically set up already. But it was a pretty good book. It just took a while for it to actually start, you know? Okay, guys, the next book is The Wall of Winnipeg and Me. I love this book. This is one of my top books for this year. I obviously gave this 5 out of 5 stars. This is by Mariana Zapata. She wrote From Look Up With Love. That's also one of my favorites, but I think this one topped it. This one's also longer. This is almost 700 pages, but I read this in less than a week. But oh my gosh, this book, guys, 10 out of 10. I definitely recommend. This is about a football player and his assistant, but it has Marriage of Convenience, Enemies to Lovers, Grumpy Sunshine, Under One Roof, like forced proximity. It has everything. I feel like this book was really well done. I loved every part of it. Aiden Graves, he has my heart, and Vanessa is just the sweetest thing ever. I love Vanessa. She's slain for real. Basically, he needs to marry. He chooses her because he hates her less than anyone else. But the banter in this, oh my gosh, the banter, the everything, I love this. I also really loved Zach and Vanessa's friendship. Like, Zach, he's my bae too. Like, Zach, if no one wants him, I'll take him. Zach was so supportive through everything, and I love Zach. There were some really cute parts in this, like the elevator scene, and then when the lights, like the power went out, that was so adorable. I love Aiden Graves. You have to go read this right now. Go read it. right now. This was one of my favorite reads, if you couldn't tell. But yeah, anyways, let's move on to the next book. Okay, the next book I read is Icebreaker. I'm just gonna put a picture because I read this one on my phone as well. I also gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. I saw this all over TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat, and I was like, I need to read it. It's hockey and it's Grumpy Sunshine. I decided to read it, and it was the best decision I ever made. Nathan Hawkins, let me tell you. He is the definition of perfect. Honestly, where do I find one? The book was absolutely amazing. I definitely recommend it. It was so cute, and you can really see how much they care for each other. Like, the way they thought of each other was just absolutely adorable. I also love to see Stas's friendships with all the hockey boys like Robbie and Henry. I also love to see her friendship with Sabrina. I love seeing their sister-like bond. It was just really cute. But Henry, he was the sweetest. Henry, even though he has a big mouth, Henry was just adorable in his own way. Like, I don't know, the way he was, he charmed me. He's so charming. Anyways, yeah, this book, 5 out of 5. I loved it. There literally was not anything I hated except for Aaron, because Aaron can go in the trash. This is Aaron in the trash. Because no Aaron, no. I'm an Aaron hater for life. The rest of the book was really good, and I can't wait for the rest of the series to come out. I'm definitely gonna read those. I love this book so much. I can't even explain it. It was just too good. Okay, the next book I read, I'm gonna put another picture because I read this one on my phone as well, is The Prince I Love to Hate. I first saw this on Apple Books for free, and I was like, you know what? It's free. I'll read it. It was okay. I gave it 2.5 stars out of 5 stars. Again, this is like the anatomy of love story. Most of the book was like building up like the story, and nothing happens till the last 100 pages. And this book, I don't know, it's like giving Wattpad, but in a bad way. Like, I like reading Wattpad books, but this was even worse. The writing was weird, and there were so many cringy things going on. I honestly don't remember like the first half of the book, but once you get towards the end, it gets really good. And it's a Grumpy Sunshine, and then she's like an average girl and he's a prince, and they go on this whole adventure so she can find her dad, and he's looking for a missing clock. It's a whole thing. But I feel like the book was very predictable. Like, I already knew how it was gonna end, and when I got to the ending, I was like, well, I saw this coming. Every like little plot twist, I already saw it. Like, I already knew that was gonna happen. It wasn't a surprise, and I feel like it was just too predictable. Like, sometimes in books, like, it's fun if it's predictable, but this was just too predictable. It was like the base model of a romance book. But I actually really liked towards the end. I know there's a second book to it, and I might read it, but it's going to be from the prince's point of view, but the first book is from her point of view, so I might read the second one because it's going to be like moving on but in his point of view, and I think that's going to be interesting. I probably wouldn't read it again, but I'll read the next book. Okay guys, so the last book I read is Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter. I gave this book a 3.5 stars out of 5. I did like the book. It was just that there was a lot of boring parts to it. I was getting bored a lot. It was really slow in the beginning. And also there's like a lot of cringy stuff. Like, some of the things that were happening, I was like, is this really happening? Like, she's supposed to have a lot of bad luck, but it's to the point where it's like, girl, can this even happen? Like, can you really have that many bad things happen to you? But besides that, I thought it was really cute because it's brother's best friend, forced proximity, Grumpy Sunshine. I liked it. It just wasn't a favorite. It's pretty similar to The Hating Game in my opinion. Colin reminds me of Josh, and Olivia reminds me of Lucy. Like, they're very similar characters, and there are similar scenes that happen, and I'm just like, like, I feel like I read it before, you know what I mean? Like, it was cute. It's a rom-com, and you can really see the calm. Like, I was finding myself laughing out loud. It was pretty funny. I just feel like there was really boring, slow parts. I also love Liv's character. I love how no matter what happened to her, she was able to get back up, and she didn't like cry in a hole, you know? Like, she actually got up and kept trying to look for jobs, and I like how resilient she was. It was nice to see. I really liked how you can see the character development between them, like how two people that swore they were never going to be in a relationship get into a relationship, and you can see how much they care for each other, and it was just the sweetest thing ever. I didn't like how the secret was kept for how long it was kept. I honestly feel like if he came clean, everything would have been okay, but he was being a wuss and he waited until like it got spilled. And I also liked Jack's character because he was very supportive with everything. Normally when like the brother sister find out about the relationship, they go all crazy, but this time Jack was like supportive of his best friend and his sister, and it was really sweet and kind. I would recommend it. I probably would read it again. It's just that it's not my absolute favorite. So those are all the books I read. So like I said, I read 6 books in total. That's a lot more than last month, because last month I only read 3, and the month before that it was 1. So like over the summer I barely read anything, and now I'm starting to read a lot more again, and it's great. But anyways, that's the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.